Hi, I'm Rebecca Zussman, and I'm the Assistant Dean for Student Services here in the College of Health Sciences and Professions at OU. And what we're going to do now is we're going to take a look at a DARS report for the RN to BSN academic program. So I would strongly recommend that you go to the link provided and print a copy of your DARS. Make sure it's the most recent. Make sure you refresh the audit to make sure that you're getting the most recent information. I also recommend that you download it as a PDF. There's a place to click on that you can download it as a PDF and print it out because it won't use as much paper that way. That's how we review them here in our office. And so what I've done is I've printed out, actually this is my DARS report, and although I'm not in the nursing program and I've never been in the nursing program, I did do my undergrad degree here. So what I've done is I have produced a what if DARS that plugs in my undergrad information into the nursing major, so it should look pretty closely to what your DARS is going to look like as a student in the RN to BSN program. So you'll get a report that's about probably 3 pages or so. So print that out and have that with you, and what we're going to do is we're going to go through it from beginning to end, and so that you'll have a much better idea of how to interpret the DARS. Okay, so first of all, up in your upper left hand corner you will have your PID and your name. Your PID begins with P and it's followed by 9 digits, and your PID can be located there. It'll also tell you what university catalog year, when you entered the university, and you can see here that if you look at my DARS, at least one requirement has not been met for the nursing major, which does not surprise me in the slightest. So if you go through the first column on the first page of the DARS, first of all we will have university requirements, and those are the general education requirements and the other university academic requirements that must be completed in order for any student to earn an undergrad degree here at OU. So first of all, under university requirement, you'll see that you have to complete at least 120 semester hours in order to earn a bachelor's degree at OU. 120 is the minimum. Most nursing students will have at least more than that. If you come in with a significant amount of transfer credit, you'll have quite a bit more than 120 credit hours. But you must have, at the bare minimum, to finish a bachelor's degree, you have to have at least 120 credit hours. University residency is another thing that has to be completed. Students have to complete a certain number of credit hours at Ohio University in order to be conferred a degree at Ohio University. And then next we go into the Tier 1 general education piece. Now the Tier 1 requirement has a math and an English component. The English component is listed first. All students must complete 2 English courses here at OU in order to get an undergrad degree conferred. Everybody has to complete a freshman English course here at OU. The class that most people complete now is English 1510, or they transfer in an equivalent. Most nursing students will transfer in at least the English 1510 equivalent. Typically, if you've earned a degree, an associate's degree at a community college, most students will transfer in an English 1510 equivalent. However, it is not uncommon for me to see students that do have to take the freshman English course. Some students who've completed their program through a hospital diploma program sometimes will also have to complete a freshman English course. So you will have to complete that if you haven't done so already. the Tier 1 General Education Quantitative Skills. That's the math piece. Most of you guys will complete Psych 1110 as the General Education Tier 1 Quantitative portion of your undergrad requirements. The Psych 1110 is an introductory statistics course. It is required in the nursing program, and when you take that course for the nursing program, it will also plug in here and meet the General Education Tier 1 math requirement. Okay, so if we go to the next piece, these columns go left to right. So yours might look a little different than mine, but it's going to pretty much follow the same structure. It might be located in a little bit different. It might still be at the bottom of this column. It might be over here, but it's going to be somewhere here on the front page. The General Education Tier 1 Junior English Composition requirement. This is the junior English course that students are required to take in order to earn a bachelor's degree at OU. For most of the nursing students, they take PCRM 3250J that will meet that requirement. That is a business writing course. I believe actually that is the one I took, PRCM. The PRCM 3250J, that was the course that I took in my undergrad. So the PRCM is also the course that is listed under the course offerings for the nursing program. Everybody must complete the junior English composition course. A freshman English course is not uncommon for students to come in with maybe 2 or 3 developmental English freshman courses that they took in their community college setting. However, if you come from a community college setting, more than likely you will not transfer in a junior English composition course. You will most likely have to take that PRCM 3250J that is listed in the RN to BSN requirements. Okay, that was the Tier 1 piece. Now we get to the Tier 2 piece. Now your Tier 2 is going to look a little bit different than mine. You will have most of you will have 6 sections. You will have applied science and technology. You'll have cross-cultural perspectives. You'll have humanities and literature. You'll have social sciences. You'll have natural sciences and mathematics. And you'll have fine arts. You must complete a course in each of those areas. You must read very closely the paragraph that precedes the Tier 2 requirements. You have to complete a course in each of those areas. Some of your nursing requirements will meet the Tier 2 requirements. So the courses that are required in your nursing program, the Psych 1010 will meet your social sciences requirement. The Nutrition 1000 will meet the applied science and technology requirement. The Sociology 1000 will meet the social sciences requirement. This is the child development. You'll have to take one of those. Also, the chemistry and the bios will meet the natural sciences requirement. So most of you will have to take a fine arts, and you'll have to take a cross-cultural perspectives course. Most of you will have to take a course in both of these areas in order to meet your general education Tier 2 requirement. They do have options online for those. History 2460 is one that meets the cross-cultural requirement. There are some other ones. If you look in the course offerings and expand the course offerings for an individual course, you'll see whether it meets a Tier 2 requirement or not. Only the classes listed under each Tier 2 area. If you have a Tier 2 area that's incomplete, only the courses listed in that area will meet the Tier 2 requirement. For instance, I've had students ask me, well, I took a guitar class, I learned how to play the guitar. That is not going to meet a fine arts requirement. That's a music skills class. Skills classes like guitar, piano, pottery, painting, drawing, something like that are not going to meet a fine arts requirement. So you will have to take some type of an art or music appreciation class. We get a lot of students that take those, art history, that'll meet the fine arts requirement. And also, like I said, you'll have to meet the cross-cultural, but watch those 2 areas on your DARS and make sure that you are taking a class that is listed specifically under those 2 areas in order to receive credit for that. Okay, so that's the Tier 2 piece. The Tier 3. The Tier 3 is a senior synthesis course. Most majors have a capstone course within the major that will meet the Tier 3 requirement. For the nursing students, it is the Nursing 4600. So when you take the Nursing 4600 as your capstone nursing course, it will plug in and meet the Tier 3 general education requirement. Okay? And then once you complete these requirements, once the requirements complete, you'll see here on my DARS, I've got quite a few of these that are listed as okay. I've got pluses right here under the Tier 2s. So if it's a plus or an okay beside it, then that requirement has been met. If there's a minus or a no beside it, the requirement has not been met. So as we go down to the college requirements, and these are the requirements that are specific to the nursing program. And here you will see on my DARS, because I'm not a nursing major, I don't have nursing requirements complete, obviously. All of the prerequisite courses that are listed have to be completed with a C or better. If you transfer in Psychology 1010 with a D+, it will not meet a nursing program requirement, and therefore you would have to take that course over again, for instance. So all of the nursing support courses under the college requirement listing have to be completed with a C or better. And make sure this is clearly noted on the DARS. So always read the DARS very carefully if you have a question on what would be the minimum grade that you have to complete. Okay, so the number 1 requirement in the nursing program is the lower division nursing courses. These are the courses that you would have completed in your associate's program. Those will be listed as NURS 1XXL or 2XXL, and you have to complete at least 27 semester hours of those. Okay, so if we go on to the next page of the DARS, you'll see the number 2 requirement. Maybe, let me just put this together and you can kind of see the requirements one under the other. So here's where the nursing program requirements started, with the lower division nursing as the number 1 requirement. Down here, the number 2 requirement is that students complete the first year composition course. That would be the English 1510. Again, this would have to be completed with a C or better. The number 3 requirement is a chemistry course. Some of you will have transferred in a chemistry course, some of you haven't. If that's the case and you have not, you will need to complete a chemistry course. Most students will do this through their local community college. Make sure you get that approved ahead of time so that when it does get transferred in, it will transfer in correctly to meet this specific requirement. It must have a lab. That is very important in order to get credit for the chemistry requirement here at OU. The number 4 requirement is complete 1 human anatomy and physiology course. A lot of you will have already completed that within your associate program and therefore would transfer that in. Again, if students do have to take this, they typically take it at their local community college and get that approved ahead of time. It also must have a lab. Just get those approved ahead of time, and that way you know exactly how it's going to transfer in. The number 5 requirement, complete 3 support courses. Those support courses are Nutrition 1000, Psych 1010, and Sociology 1000. Most of you will have those completed already in your associate's program. However, if you don't, there are options typically within the RN to BSN course offerings where you can take those through your RN to BSN program here at OU. The number 6 requirement is 1 child development psychology course. The 2 options that we have here at OU are EDEC 1600 or Psychology 2410. Both of those are similar child development courses. One is taught through the College of Education, through the Early Childhood Education program. The other one is taught through the Department of Psychology. But either one of those courses will meet the nursing requirement. And again, those are typically offered online through the RN to BSN program too. Number 7, complete 1 microbiology course. At OU, those classes are either BIOS 2010 or BIOS 2210. Again, this is one that most of you will complete through your associate's program and you'll transfer it in. The number 8 support course requirement is the statistics requirement. You can see here that mine has been completed. I did complete a couple of statistics course in my undergrad. However, the one that you guys will most likely complete, if you haven't done so already, is the Psych 1110. That is the intro statistics course taught out of the Department of Psychology, and it is available online in the RN to BSN program. Okay, so all of these requirements, starting with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, all of those must be completed with a C or better. Okay, so then we go to the actual upper level nursing education requirement courses. You will notice that a grade of B- or better is required for each NRSE prefix course. There are 9 courses. Each one of these must be completed with a B- or better. If one of these is completed with a C+ or better, or C+ or lower, you will have to retake that course. The B- or better is non-negotiable, and it can keep you from graduating. So make sure that you earn at least a B- or better on all of the nursing courses. So the 9 nursing courses are listed: Nursing 4510, 4520, 4530, 4540, 4550, 4560, 4570, 4580, and 4600. The 4600, again, is that capstone course that students typically complete last. And if you will remember, it also meets the Tier 3 general education requirement back on this page of your DARS. So once you take that Nursing 4600 for your major, it will also plug in for the general education Tier 3 requirement. Okay, that represents the last of the nursing program requirements. Underneath the program requirements, you'll see a section called free electives. Those are courses that go towards your undergrad minimum of 120 credit hours to graduate. However, these are courses that just don't plug in any specific requirements. So it's not going to be uncommon to have some free electives. You'll see here I've got quite a few free electives. I also was a transfer student, so I've got quite a few courses that transferred in as as elective hours. I don't have graded for them, but they have a T beside them, and you can see that they do fall under the free electives area. Okay, and then if you go, and there's some more free electives up here on my DARS, and then you'll see an undergraduate chronological course record. And this is where all of your credit, as we have it here at OU, your transfer credit and the credit that you complete within your program, those are all going to be listed. And that will be chronologically listed on your DARS. Once you get to the sections where you have actually completed grades here at OU and completed coursework here, you'll see the grades listed instead of just the T's. So that pretty much is the end of the DARS. At the very end, you'll see a little section that gives you, it's kind of like a map legend, gives you an idea of how the notation works if you see any unusual little things noted on your DARS. The DARS is your responsibility. The DARS is what we use to determine who graduates and who doesn't. So it's very important to become familiar with your DARS, become familiar with those requirements. And again, the big thing that you want to remember with your DARS is if there's a plus or an OK beside it, that requirement is complete. If there's a minus in front of it, then that is something that's going to have to be completed in order to earn your Bachelor of Science in Nursing degree at Ohio University.